Hello friend and everyone, this is Dog on Path of Exile and welcome to this new video about Toxic Rain. It works pretty simple, you just throw an arrow in the air and after the landing it will create a number of spore pods. Each pod can overlap and do damage to the enemies. I stick with the idea of more pod equal more damage, and instead of just stacking attack speed, I wanted to throw mine. The result is awesome. That's why I wanted to present it to you. As usual, you have the path of building link in the description below. Right now I'm going a little bit deeper in the build and some explanation. You can early start this build at the beginning of Act 2 after reaching level 12 and killing the boss from Act 1, the Siren. This is definitely the strongest build that I've made, even in early game. You will definitely melt the monsters with your bunch of uniques and other equipment that you can find during your leveling process. And this will go until the end. I mean, as a league starter, it's really good because you are really safe as a miner or trapper, and also because it's a chaos damage build. To increase your damage, you rely on a bunch of different stats. There are chaos damage, damage over times, mines, and level on your main skill. Before going to the passive tree, let's talk about the mistake that I made. I firstly tried this build as an assassin. Because Toxic Rain have on-hit effect and also the chaos damage over time with the spore pod, I wanted to apply the poison with the on-hit effect with the spore pod having the chaos damage over time. So more damage over time with the poison and the spore pod. You can't build around these two type of damage. I mean, I couldn't do it. That you will choose are not really efficient for the two kind of damage that you will have. And for your equipment, you will have to choose to improve your poison damage or your chaos damage. That's not good. Also, I tried to do a trapper instead of a miner. Because yeah, let's make mine casting spell and also doing bows or wand attacks. That's just all traps works before the rework of mine and trap with patch 3.8. Anyway, trap are basically almost like the same as the mine. The difference is that the auto trigger after the trap is landing. So you have one minus skill to use during your maps. The trouble with trap is that the base laying speed is the double of the mine, and also that you have travel time from the trap that is around 1 second and cannot be reduced. Another small disadvantage for trap is that the monsters had to work on it. Even if you can increase trap trigger area of effect, sometimes you just throw trap that's never trigger, so basically it's just a loss of DPS. Let's take a quick look on the passive tree. Everything as usual, life damage and defense stuff, well, the base of PoE. You will end up with enough life and mana to do all content. Just 3 jewels are here to allow me to take some nodes without connected to the passive tree. And that's all for the main tree. On the Ascendancy, the Saboteur class is, for me, really cheated. You have 2 nodes that are really useful. The one that blind nearby enemies, so you don't have to take flesh and stone gems, it saves you mana reserves and a slot for another gem, and the one that immune yourself to ignite and shock, and well, another thing in this node, it gives you 10% life regen almost every time. The last one is the mine branch. Don't take the demolition specialist. Toxic Rain already slow monster movement speed, and the support mine doesn't have any auras. For the gem setup, there is some that you can adapt for your willingness. The Toxic Rain main skill, Blast Chain Mine, is turn the attack into a mine, Swift Assembly, to get more chance to throw more mine, Trap and Mine damage, Void Manipulation to increase the chaos damage, vicious projectile that boosts your damage over time. For the different buff and debuff for you and the monster, you will choose the aura Malevolence and Herald of Agony for the damage. You will not stack Virulence on the Herald, because mine doesn't reflect the buff they get unless it's specified. And finally, summon Skitterbots for the shock effect. Next, you want to apply Vile Blight, Wither with the spell totem, and obviously Despair Curse. For utility, I took the rework Enduring Cry, Flame Golem and Withering Step. I only use it to go quicker on wide areas.
That is one big pile of shit.
The key here is obviously the bow. You are doing an attack. I mean, at the start. Then you just turn it to a mine. So the most important for your bow is to have the +3 on the main skill. The quiver can have nice stats for the build, and don't forget to have a ring or a pair of gloves that apply Despair on it. The Devouring Diadem is only useful for the mana reserved, and Eldritch Battery is nor a plus, neither a disadvantage. Cherubim's Maleficence is a great boost if you reach enough life and resistance. The ring in Circle of Nostalgia is set up to increase offense and defense, and the flask Witchfire Brew for the damage over time. Everything is quite cheap. Some price may vary from league to league, and your abilities of reaching 6-link bow might be a key for your expense.
Here's the corner. Whoa, my fucking god, that was so fast. I was not ready for that.
In this section, I will try to develop 3 points. The League Starter and the ability to progress smoothly in your gear. The Clear Speed and the Overleague type. So for the first point, awesome. Really awesome. This is my strongest and easiest build so far. I did it without too much belief and it ended fucking well. From level 12 to endgame, everything went good. No gap or needed serious investment to progress. When you drop the currency, invest in your character, item by item, and you will find yourself doing red maps without struggle. For the second point, instead of a long speech, I'm letting you enjoy this full Ash Prestone run. Finally, so to be clear, I never did SSF, neither hardcore on PoE. This advice has to be complete with your own experience, or streamer, or a friend, or whoever you want, that only play this kind of league. There is plenty of people well known for this. Since nothing are much complicated to obtain, I'm convinced it suits well for SSF League. The bow might be the most difficult to obtain, but you can do much with less stats on it. With good abilities and more seriousness in your gameplay, you will find this build suitable for your hardcore challenge.
To infinity and beyond!
The last part of this video is for the most dedicated of you. This is the improvement for your character to be safer or to deal more damage. There is, most of the time, some stuff that are too... I don't know. I never think of it, or I think that the time invested in... Well, something that the RNG or price for the reward doesn't fit me. And well, I already have fun builds without doing it, so why bothering myself? For this one, this is the Abyss belt with the Abyss jewel, the catalyst for your ring, amulet and belt, and the lab enchant. Then the following item have some nice stats that you can get for an expensive price or the luckiest exile of you. I'm not gonna develop it, I already highlight the stat that you can search for. That was the Dog on Path of Exile. See you guys, and remember, never stop learning.